This is the Big O Show. 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 This.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, InterMiamiCF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
More tables. More entertainment.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Welcome aboard. Yes, sir. Time to rock and roll on a beautiful Monday, and it is a beautiful Monday, especially when you consider the way the Panthers dominated this weekend to take a 3-1 lead. Yeah, sucker punch and all. Oh, man, that was good. That was a hell of a weekend, man. For them to take both, I mean, it's kind of like what you felt in game 2. The ass kicking was like, okay, we're the better team. We're going to establish ourselves, and they did that this weekend, man. You know, although, Sean, can you help me, bro? I keep looking in the NBA playoffs. I don't see Jimmy Butler. He's not playing, apparently. Have you been able to find him? No? Okay. All right.
No, the only time I saw him was when you tweeted him out with the Hulu ad. That's the only time I've watched him.
Yes. Yeah, I saw. In fact, yes, I was taking the ladies to Mother's Day lunch, late lunch, early dinner. I don't know what the hell you want to call it. And I saw this big old billboard and says, watch live TV just like Jimmy Butler. And he can watch, playoff basketball just like the rest of us on Hulu Live. I'm glad he's getting his money, bro. He's getting all his money, all his commercials, riding horses, finding coffee beans. He's getting it all done. And by the way, we got our merch store open finally. We're going to add more merchandise, but we've added some already. Working on more. So we're all in here, and it's all good in the hood. So you got the Sean is amazing. He created a QR code because I didn't even give him a QR code. I just gave him the link of it, and then he creates all of this. So for those of you that want to shop some merch, we got a blind ass fan shirt and everything, a Bitcoin style shirt. You know what? I gotta get those printed so I can get one for myself. By the way, the Bitcoin hat. I need one. I have a couple of Bitcoin hats. I need a new one. I need our own now. Because Bitcoin Big O Show. So the B works everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So we've got it there for you. So if you want to support the show another way besides watching and hitting the like button, donating, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And of course, merchandise that you got there so you can support the show. And now that we got it, now that we're starting to get it rolling, we'll start to add more stuff to it and get more fresh ideas into it and all that. This is kind of stuff that we had in the shoot for a while. I just continue to have setbacks. And by the way, this was a pain in the ass for me because I am not technically sound. So putting this stuff up and putting it together was a real pain in the ass for me. I got to tell you, it's a real pain in the ass. But we were able to get it done, and we got it going. So if you want to check out the merchandise shop and support the show, we would appreciate it immensely. Thank you all out there as always, and thanks to Alan Blanco from 3A Graphics, okay, and John too, obviously the designer of everything. So it's kind of a team thing, man. So everybody, you know, it's interesting how some of you have helped us grow. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it takes. It kind of takes, you know how it's said, you know how that saying that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, kind of takes a village to, you know, support a real sports talk show. You know, that's kind of here for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's all part of it. Hitting the like button, watching as long as you can, because watch time is really the most important thing you can do. Visiting our amazing sponsors, whether it's Cutter's Edge Pro, Caneswear, Acura Pembroke Pines, Toyota of Hollywood. By the way, we will be at Toyota of Hollywood on Wednesday, broadcasting live at Toyota of Hollywood. We're back broadcasting live at Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be there the second Wednesday of every month. This time we'll start this Wednesday, which is, I believe, the third Wednesday of the month. But next month, starting next month in June, we will be there the second Wednesday of every month. We'll be at Toyota of Hollywood. So it's nice to have them back aboard, and great to be out there. So we'll be in that Hollywood area broadcasting live right down the street from Welt and Rayom, another phenomenal sponsor. And we've got hurricane season coming up. You got to have Welt and Rayom in your corner, man. Those guys are awesome. What they did at Progressive was amazing. But anyway, so there you go. You got the merch link. You got it all. Some of you have been asking me about merch for a long time now, and I've been slacking and not getting it done. Well, we finally got it done. So thanks to my wife, thanks to John, thanks to Alan, and I appreciate all of you out there as always. So thank you all for supporting the hell out of the show, however it is that you support the show, because it's very, 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 very important. I see Jamie Zoria out in San Jose is number one. Let's see. He reminds everybody to smash that like button and hopes everybody has a great weekend. And those cats. Steve Chapman is in the house. Not looking good for my Bruins. Good luck to the Cats in the next round. The good news is the Celtics are still going strong. Yeah, the Celtics are like a weird. They're not naturally dogs. Like the Panthers played like dogs this weekend. Like, okay, we screwed up at home. All right, now we're going to go over there on the road and we're going to take both of them from them. You know, that's just like, that's dog stuff. That's the kind of shit that, like, okay, these guys aren't here to F around. You know what I'm saying? But the Celtics, they're not like, you know, Garnett and Pierce and Ray Allen, those cats. They're certainly nothing like Larry Bird. Larry Bird did not want to even let you breathe. If he had a chance to bury your ass, he was going to bury your ass and then tell you about it after that. And he was going to tell you that he was burying you before, during, and after he buried you. But these Celtics, this Jason Tatum guy, there's this soft side of them. And they seem to underestimate opponents. And that's exactly what they did to the Heat when they got bored in the second half of the first game, because I explained it. You know, a lot of people didn't want to really look at the truth at what happened in that Heat series. Celtics did what the Celtics normally do. No matter how much the Heat has beaten them or whatever, they somehow still got bored after the first half of the first game. And in the second half, they got bored. And the Tatum and Brown coasted in that second half. Just watch it. They did all their damage in the first half and kind of coasted and did enough just to get by and win the game. And then the second game, they took Miami for granted that they lost. And by the time they tried to get back into that game, it was too late. Miami was hot. They got on a roll, which could happen to any team. Okay? And then somehow or another, they do the same shit in this round too. And it seems like they kind of woke up. I don't get this Boston team. In fact, while we say that they could be the best team in the league and should win the title, it's almost the more I see them, the more I look at a team that isn't going to win the title because of that knack of letting up, dude. Like I told you, look at the Panthers. Do they let up? F no, dude. They outplayed, they kicked Boston's ass in the first period yesterday. They just didn't score, but they dominated Boston in that first period, dude. Dominated. And they were down 2-0. We're like, holy shit. Wait a minute. Boston got 5 shots and scored on 2 of them? Panthers had 15 shots and didn't score? Now, this shit ain't going to last. And sure enough, it didn't last. I mean, Boston, dude, Bob had 16 saves. That's stupid. The other guy had 38 saves, peppered. And you won by 1 goal. You peppered him, and you won by 1 goal. It's crazy. So the Celtics are not wired like the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? Just not. That's what I would tell you about those Celtics. That's where I would not trust them one damn bit. Steve Chapman is in the house. Ray Varnikas, any news from your sources? I will get some stuff. Okay, I'm still working on it. Ocala Joe is in the house. Got my order in this morning. Thank you, Ocala Joe. Appreciate it. Got it printed and I'll get it out now. Give me a couple days. This is the first thing. Now it's like I think you were the first one. In fact, you might have been the first order. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, you were the first order. Then it's interesting. The first 2 orders are Hernandez's. I'm not going to say who the first name of the second one, but you're the first. And then the second person that ordered it is also a Hernandez. So it's the official Hernandez buy your big old merch day today. Okay. No, but seriously, if you can, support our show, buy some merch. We'll get more out. We'll have more of a variety as time goes on, and we'll fix some of this stuff. Let's see. And thank you, Ocala Joe. Appreciate you. Ray Sosa, as always, Giovanni Ray, Sergio Hervis, Steven Gonzalez. Boston team has nothing left, trying to taunt the Panthers before and during the game. Yeah, no, it's and then you try to play the physical game, and that's not going to fly because that's their game. You know, that's what I love. I hated the Panthers like 3-4 years ago. It would frustrate the shit out of me that they would get constantly pounded by people, and they weren't physical shows. Holy shit. We got some breaking freaking news, bro. David Gilmour is coming to the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles the 29th and the 30th of October, and Madison Square Garden, November 4 and 5th. That's freaking awesome, because I won't go see that stinking anti-Semite Roger Waters. I will not go see that piece of shit. Okay? So Gilmour I will go see. I mean, I've seen Floyd back in the day, back in the early 80s, but wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. David Gilmour. That is fantastic. I'm definitely going to it. I don't know if I'll go to Los Angeles or I don't know if I'll go to New York, but I definitely have to find a way to be there. Somehow or another, I need to be at David Gilmour's concert. Wow, that's some good shit. Man, that's awesome. All right. Like it. Let's see. Who else is in? Jay Gelfin in the house. Loving them Panthers. Crypto Fins. By the way, speaking of crypto Fins, Bitcoin from 60,600. We are now at almost 63,000. 62,901. So we've made a move now. I don't know if this is it, but from the 60,600 mark up to 60, it's hit 63, but it's at 62,908 right now. So good shit. Starting to move. Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but just to kind of give you, this is good for investors. If you're an investor, this is something very good for you. The M2 money supply is now starting to go up, as you can see. And when this starts to go up, then risk assets start to fly. And you can see where we were, and look how bad it's gotten. And now we're back up. And so it's, the printer is starting, which, it's the only way they know how to do things. Print, and print. So you are going to see a little bit of a change in your assets, whether your stocks or crypto or whatever, gold, silver, platinum, assets will now start to grow a little bit, and things will start to turn a little bit more. So money printer is starting. Let's see. Cosa Nostra's in. Dolphins Nation, rookie camps, OTAs, all that. Yes. Although let me start by something, because you have those aggregators, those what are those people that they like, Dov Kleiman and what's that other guy? Like, they don't break any news. They just repost the breaking news of Rappaport or anybody else or whatever, right? And they retweet one where this guy's already proving himself. Let's start by something first and foremost, okay? Because, the great Albert Wilson retired this weekend, which I thought, how apropos, how perfect is it that Albert Wilson is retiring during a mini camp? Because that's what he was here in South Florida, a mini camp sensation. And media members all over the country are now embarrassing themselves, talking about some guy. Oh, this class looks really fast. This guy's proving himself. What's he proving himself? With a undrafted quarterback that's throwing to him and an undrafted corner that's covering him, or an untested corner that was drafted that has no experience? Is that what they're proving themselves against? I get it. It's all you cover. So you got to talk up whatever you can because you're desperate. You're in a part of the year that really doesn't call for you to talk it up, as I've been trying to, walk people off the ledge for several years. I've made my mistakes 30 years ago with Brian Manning and things like that, but I stopped doing that decades ago, getting excited about players in mini camps. But we've had the Albert Wilsons recently, and we've had the Robbie Chosens recently. So these veterans that are invited to mini camps, and then they join the rookies, and then they join the other mini camps, and they're trying to get a job, and they catch a couple of passes, and because the writer has to fill his book with something or her book with something, let me put that this guy looked great today, and Robbie Chosen looked fantastic, and this and that, and all that. And so let me just stop all that crap, because I see it all over the place. Dov Kleiman retweeting, reaggregating somebody else's post. Oh, he is proving himself already. What's he proving? It's May. They're in shorts. So let's also dial it back a little bit here, okay? Remember, this is not the show that's going to sensationalize bullshit. This is not the show that is going to reach for, what should they sign Tua? Yeah, that's a stupid ass topic. They're going to sign Tua, so it doesn't really matter. What you could do is talk about it after, and after he plays for a couple of years, you can figure out, was it worth it or was it not? That's the conversation you want to have. That's, should they sign? Are they giving him too much at 50 or 55 or whatever? It's the going rate, bro. But I get it. Let's sensationalize it. This receiver is looking, like I read where the second Washington kid from USC, what is it? PJ, or what's the name of the second one? It's not Malik, is the Virginia kid. And the other one is, let me go.
Malik is the USC kid, isn't it?
No, Malik is the Virginia kid, if I'm correct. I may be wrong here. Let me see. Taj Washington. So it's like Taj Washington is already, looking great and proving worthy of his pick. And it's like, first of all, he's a 7th rounder. Maybe he is a good player, but he's not proving anything right now. Okay? Let me see him up against Jalen Ramsey. Let me see him against Fuller. Let me see him against Nick Needham. Okay? Not some, Duck Darling or anybody else that's out there right now that's unproven, untested. No, we don't know anything about it. And I know they like the Duck kid too, but again, unproven. I don't know. Nobody is proving anything out there. Okay? I just want you to know that. Okay? But the only thing that was accurate from what I've seen over the weekend is that they all pointed out that Patrick Paul is pretty large. Okay? And you can see that on Friday's videos and all that, because that's all they had access to is Friday. They didn't have access to Saturday or Sunday, and they didn't really see anything. And there's no pads, no nothing. So, but we'll get you some insight on what went on over the weekend as they all gather their info. So you got to give me some time, but I'm working on it right now, as we speak. I am working on it, but I haven't gathered everything that I need. So I might have it by the end of the show. I might have it in tomorrow's show, but we'll have something. We'll have something for you. We'll have some nuggets for you all out there. Let's see. Gus 1388, Alexis Palenzuela, Adam Sadowski, Chad is in the house, JC Norville, Nyborg. Let's see. Thank you, Nyborg. One-Eyed Jack, Suds. Hope y'all's weekend and Mother's Day was good. Thank you, Suds. Lisa Rose in the house, Ray Sosa, Drago, Aaron Hernandez, Stetson O, J-Town, Think Blue Dodgers. Let's go. Hitting that bong at 7 a.m. Oh, that's right. It's 10:30 here. So it's 7. That's strong. Strong on your part. Brooklyn Rob is in the house. Did I hear you say last week you would not be surprised if the Panthers go to Boston and take both games? You are a visionary. I'm not a visionary. And I think we all saw that on Wednesday. You know what I mean? On Wednesday, that domination was too much. And it was one of those like, nah. And that's why if you felt like they could go there. They're the better team, man. They're the better team. Period. End of story. That's all. And I love the whole storyline. You know, Rob, what I love about all of this is it was the whole revenge shit. And we were looking at it in the prior round like, okay, well, Toronto and Boston, we kind of like, okay, well, Toronto will be the easier matchup. We know Boston will be the tougher matchup. And even with ourselves, we were thinking they were the tougher matchup, even though you saw throughout the year that the Panthers constantly proved they could be the best team in the league because they were the best team in the league for a stretch, right? And then towards the end, they kind of fell down a little bit in the standings. They kind of had a little bit of lull. You know, it was almost like they got kind of bored in a way. And then they took a couple steps back, lost some games and lost some standings. But we kind of looked at it like, okay, Boston would be the tougher matchup. And then you lose that first game, and then that second game was so dominant. You're like, okay, you know, that week off, what are you going to do? You had a week off. What are you going to do? Not take the week off? You take the week off. It is what it is. You weren't sharp, and it looked like it. It was obvious. Big deal. You move on, and at least you're fresher. But now you got your edge back. And they came back and punched them in the mouth and played their game. And it just felt like, okay, they got their mojo back. And that's why I felt like they have a chance to go there and take both. I knew that they would at least split. I knew they weren't going to go to Boston and lose both. Not the way they played game 2. It was like, no. This is who we are. It's impressive to still go to Boston and take 2. Forget I'm saying it or you're saying or anybody else saying or feeling it or whatever. For the Panthers to go there and take those 2 games and limit them to shots and limit their best players to not doing anything. Jesus Christ, dude. Wow. Impressive, Brooklyn, Rob. Really impressive. Gordon Shumway, Kyle Cockrell, Dainad Tiwari, Brian Landis, Roderick Freeman. Finally, a merchandise shop for the best talk show host in South Florida. I'll be visiting and purchasing a lot. Finish the Bruins tomorrow night, Panthers. Well, they better because the Hurricanes and the Rangers, they play tonight, and the Rangers lead 3-1. So we kind of need the Hurricanes to pick it up. Vinny Trocheck switched sides. He went to the Rangers now to help them. You know? C. Dola's in the house. Yeah, InterMiami, man. That was good. Dude 67, Devin Jordan, NorCal, Lenny Pena, Maximus, Blind Ass Fan Alert. We got 2 different Blind Ass Fan Alert shirts for you. We all know that Aaron Hernandez didn't make an order. No, you're right. Aaron Hernandez did not. If he did, it would have been impressive. Psychologic, Hunter Butler, Evan Yarmitsky. You ever check out Pink Floyd's Pulse concert from 94? Man, what an amazing show. I have not seen that one probably. I've seen several on YouTube. Stay away from Motley Crue and Hot. Yeah, that's just a money grab, dude. You're not even seeing the real crew anymore. Eddie Reto, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Eddie Reto Hernandez in the house. Pat in Asheville. Buy Hernandez, get one free at the Big O shop. Restrictions apply. Big O, I hear that David Gilmour refuses to play any Waters Floyd. Yes, he's not playing any Waters Floyd. He's going to play his Floyd and then some of his solo stuff is from what I'm told. And that's cool. I got no problem with that. You know, you get to see a great guitarist in David Gilmour, and then you're going to get to hear some of the great Floyd songs. It's kind of, you know, it sucks for those of you that didn't get to see Floyd a few years back. And that sucks, obviously. It reminds me, I saw a story today. I read a story today on with Alex Lifeson from Rush. And you know, they've been asked, him and Geddy Lee, 1,000 times about Rush getting back together again. And he said, when we first quit 10 years ago, Neil was no longer able to play the way he could play 10 years prior. And to him, that was a real problem, that he couldn't play to perfection. And so we retired. And lately we've been playing music, but what we've noticed is we're not the same people that we were 10 and 20 years ago. And so that's probably why a reunion will never happen, because we can't be ourselves ever again. And that's kind of what happens with some of these bands. Everybody gets to a tipping point, and you can't, you're just not a smart consumer at that point, because you're being fooled. And so if you go see Motley Crue, Vince Neil has no voice. They're using fill-ins inside there for the concerts. It's bad. It's really bad. Vince Neil hasn't been able to sing for over 10 years, dude. And so you got to, sometimes I'll tell you guys, hey, certain bands, stop seeing them because they cannot sing. Lionel Richie can't sing anymore. I'm glad that David Coverdale and Whitesnake finally retired. He hadn't been able to sing in a while. He had backup singers. Eddie Money, his last couple tours, had his daughter singing all the high notes behind him because he couldn't. It just gets to a point, and you got to, if you understand it and you watch, I've been to well over 1,000 concerts. So I kind of already see the bullshit when it's happening. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I walked out of Lionel Richie because he couldn't sing. Like on the third song, I looked at my wife. I go, this motherfucker can't sing. I'm out of here, bro. And I walked right out. And tickets at the Hard Rock aren't cheap, bro. But I'm like, I'm not going to see this guy. It's a great sign when they can't sing. They put out the mic and they want you to fill in the words constantly. And that was Lionel. And I was like, come on, Lionel, bro. That's embarrassing. So, yeah. So you're not going to see a Rush reunion, but it's probably the best. Sad for those of you that never got to see him. That's the part that sucks. Kind of like this thing with Floyd. If you didn't get to see him together like I did when I was young, sad that you can't get to see him now, and sad that we have to deal with a stinking anti-Semite piece of shit, Roger Waters. And so now, I was given tickets to his last concert years ago, and I gave them away. I was like, nah, I ain't going to see that anti-Semite. So I'll go see David Gilmour at least. And I respect the hell out of David Gilmour that he won't sing the Roger Waters songs because of the piece of crap that he is. You know what I mean? So I like that. I respect that. I will go see David Gilmour in Madison Square Garden or in LA. That'll be fun to see. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little basketball with the one and only Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Right. There he is. How you feeling, Ira? You had a good weekend?
Had a good weekend. It was, I was listening just now to you talking about rockers who can't rock and be themselves anymore. And the one thing that reminded me of is Billy Joel, when he just did his, they did the tape of his 100th concert at the Garden. And he even stood up there before he sang Innocent Man. And he said, look, I'm not sure I can hit these notes anymore, so I apologize ahead of time. And so many times you will hear, instead of going for the high notes or the loud notes, they'll bring it back in, but at least they're honest with what they can and can't do.
Oh, they'll back away from the mic. They'll back away from, it's a trick they use. They'll back away from the mic so you can't hear the whole high note fading away
of the voice. Yeah. So I respect the rockers who would at least come out and say, I'm not who I was 10, 15, 20, 40 years ago. But if you're here for the nostalgia, I can deliver that. And that's what I appreciate. I'm going to try to get through this. Let's do it together. But the one thing you said, which so resonates with me, and I've said this even when they're young and everything, when they put the mic out, so you fill in the words. I'm like, no, I didn't come to hear the guy behind me singing. I could go to a cheap karaoke bar and hear that. I came to hear you for a lot of money these days. To me, that's the worst trick. Okay, do it on one song. You have one song where you understand that everyone's going to do it, and Steve Perry's going to know that everyone wants to sing the chorus. I get that. But don't do it for every song. I'm not here to do karaoke or hear karaoke. I agree with that.
Yeah, they pull that shit off, and it just is kind of crazy, man. Overall, let's before we get to the Heat stuff,
sure.
Playoff wise, you know, and this a little Heat related in a way.
Okay.
You know, I love Ant-Man because he's really growing up to be a leader. And while he gets all the praise, and he played well yesterday, and they lost, but I love the way he approached Game 3, where he was the lightning rod, because that's what all great players are supposed to be. You're going to get the credit all the time when you win, but the really great players and the great leaders like Spo, they step to the forefront when it's at its worst and say, no, dude, it's all on me. I screwed up. Okay. Like Spo does the same shit all the time. We had enough. No excuses. We know he didn't have enough.
Right.
Spo will never make an excuse and say, no, we had enough. We couldn't get it done. Yada, 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 all this and that. And, you know, it won't make any, but I love the way Ant, for a young guy, he's really taking hold of what a franchise face is supposed to do.
Yeah, you know, they talked about it during the broadcast. Reggie talked about it, Jamal Crawford, and I do agree. I think the comparisons to Jordan aren't fair because they're never fair. The comparisons to Dwayne Wade, I think, are very real. As somewhat of an undersized scorer who still finds his way, who's willing to play in the mid-range because he knows that that's his shot, who will get to the basket if you let him get there. The Ant-Man I'm seeing right now is when I saw the genesis of Dwayne Wade in that playoff series against the Hornets, when they played, you know, New Orleans in Dwayne's first playoff series and what he did. They might not get all of the way. I think ultimately Denver has the deeper starting lineup, potentially deeper roster. But you could see the move, and you could see who Ant-Man is. And those who were debating LaMelo Ball or Ant-Man now know the right direction there. Sort of like Dwayne Wade going at number 5. God bless you, Darko Milicic, and to a lesser degree, even Carmelo from Chris Bosh for going earlier. But you see who the gem of the league is. And what I love about him is how charismatic he is. Yeah. That the NBA has been a league about charisma, and he knows that. And whether it's the Adam Sandler movie he made, not so great, but at least he got himself out there and he showed what he could be. Yeah, I think Anthony Edwards very much, if you're asking me, hey, who's the future of the NBA right now, he would have to be on that Mount Rushmore in that top 5 in that starting lineup right now.
You know, Ira, the sad part is, but the reality, and it's the truth, you lived it just like I did because we're old enough. This whole Michael Jordan comparisons, people got to stop, and they got to understand that Michael Jordan was an SOB from the get-go. From North Carolina, he hit the biggest shot on the team, and we all joked that the only guy that could contain Michael Jordan was Dean Smith. Not anybody else. It was Dean Smith. And the second he got into the NBA, he dominated the NBA. The problem is, you and I lived this. He was playing with Rory Sparrow and Orlando Woolridge. You can only do so much in the early days with that. But he was always a son of a bitch. It's not like he learned to, like LeBron, we saw him graduate here in the Boston series, where it became like he became that guy. Michael was always that guy. Please stop with the comparisons. And now Ant-Man, and now we want to do the stop it already.
Right.
This guy was Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan were sons of bitches way before they were in the NBA. They didn't learn to be dogs in the NBA. They didn't learn to carry teams in the NBA. They were that already. And that's where I just think that if you don't have the perspective and you didn't live it, you just really can't do the comparisons, dude.
And it's also way before the age of fraternization, where guys were out to rip your heart out instead of growing up in the AAU system, where everyone's your buddy, where after the hardest of hardest fights, guys wind up hugging each other at midcourt and moving on, and Bam Adebayo telling you how much he loves Jason Tatum and how they've been friends and they go way back. It's just a different time. Michael Jordan would not only cut your throat out, he would cut the throat of his teammates out like he did when he punched Steve Kerr during practice, because that's who they are. Larry Bird didn't grow up in that system. He grew up out on his farm. He just wanted to make hoops. He just wanted to win games. He just wanted to wear the Celtics green. That's who we were. Magic Johnson the same way. If it meant getting Pat Riley fired, so be it. He was out there. He was cutthroat. We're not cutthroat anymore. And we're not cutthroat anymore because there's so many other avenues to fame. The avenue to fame used to be greatness and greatness alone. How many times, Big O, do you see these commercials? God bless Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren, but please stop singing. But you don't have to be a star you don't have to be a basketball star to be ubiquitous otherwise anyway. That's where it's changed a little bit. Those guys were great because of basketball. Eventually the sneakers, the commercials came, but it was because of the game. Now it's all about the marketing. Now it's all about the social media. I do agree with that.
It's just those guys were dogs, bro, right from the get-go. It was just, and they were thrown right into the spotlight, and it was just like, and the world of the pressure was on them right from the get, and they responded like champs, dude. I'm just saying those are people that are cut from a completely different, and I don't want to take anything away from Ann, or I don't want to take anything away from LeBron or any of these kind of guys, but we're so desperate to go grab the next this, the next that, and we want to make. And by the way, the Ant stuff, you know, I'd like for Tyler Hero to watch that a little bit, because, you know, when he had his moment and then they went after him and he didn't respond, oh, well, they were pushing me and tugging me and this and that. And, you know, that's the moment where, kid, shut up. I had a bad night. I got to respond. That's what you needed to say. And not make the excuses. Learn from your coach. Learn from other players.
But that's innate, Big O. But Big O, either you are an SOB or you aren't an SOB. Say what you want about Jimmy Butler and all he's putting the Heat through, but the reason Jimmy Butler got to be Jimmy Butler is he's an SOB. He didn't give a crap about his coaches or his teammates or anywhere. He wanted to win. He wanted to do it his way. He wanted to prove it. That's the difference. Either you have the SOB in you. LeBron became the ultimate SOB. When someone finally pointed out, like you mentioned, if you're not going to post up JJ Barea and let him guard you in the post, you have a problem here, kid. Learn how to handle it. Learn how to do it. That's when he became an SOB, even if it meant toward his coaches and some other teammates. You have to be that kind of player. It's across sports. You either are that kind of player, you aren't. And you know what? You can be a nice guy and still be an SOB. And a guy who now currently for us, we can talk about in our market, would be someone like a Barkov. He might look like the nicest guy, but he'll cut your heart out also. That's the difference. So you can be a genuinely decent person, but when you're between the four lines, when you're on the ice, when you're on the field, you have to have that mentality. And you know what? That's not something that's coached into you. You either are, like you like to say, Big O, a dog, or you're not a dog. And you know what? The one example you've given me over the years in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report is Bam. What a great person he is. What a great son he is. What a great teammate he is. But is he that ultimate dog, and will he ever be?
No, wait a minute. He's a dog. He's a dog, but he's kind of a blue-collar dog, because you can't play like him and not be a dog. Now,
he's a bulldog. He's not a Rottweiler. Sometimes you have to be like Udonis, and you have to be a Rottweiler.
Right, exactly. He's part of the pack, not the leader of the pack. Is kind of what it is. He's a badass because he's part of the group. You know, he might be part of the Lords of Flatbush, but he may not be the lead guy of the Lords of the Flatbush.
And if he cuts your heart out, he'll give it back to you after. That's the difference. Yeah.
Hand it back to you in a velvet box and all that kind of stuff. Okay, now here's where I was wrong. But then again, maybe it's the lack of experience. But I thought OKC was going to get a hold of this series, and here are the Mavs with a 2-1 lead. I got to say, I didn't see this coming, and that's because I also label that Dallas team as soft, as always. So props to Kyrie, props to Doncic and boys.
No, I'm going to disagree. What's really the playoffs are showing me, Big O, is because I've been watching the Stanley Cup and I'm watching the NBA. In the Stanley Cup, there's so many legitimate contenders out there, from the Panthers to the Rangers, even Colorado in their shape. They're in Dallas. In the NBA, I really think there's only three, I'd say maybe great teams in the playoffs this year. I think in the East, it's Boston alone. Now, New York's had its injuries, so we haven't seen them with Randall, Mitchell Robinson, OG, and Anunoby. I understand that. But I think the only teams I'm watching now in the playoffs, and I'm saying that's a legitimate championship contender, are the Celtics, are the Nuggets, and are the Timberwolves. So yes, the Thunder Maverick series might be competitive. On that level, Dallas is showing it. But those aren't great teams. Those aren't ready in the moment teams. Those are absolutely flawed teams, which is why if a team like the Heat stayed alive longer or had different matchups, they could have endured, because I think there's only one good team in the East. Don't tell me Indiana's good. New York is hurt. Indiana's okay. Don't tell me Cleveland is any good because they won a game in Boston.
Yeah. Let's not shit on Indiana. They're a good team.
Good,
but you're right.
But not great.
The Knicks, the injuries, dude. The injuries have killed the Knicks.
And even if the Knicks had everyone together, they weren't on the Celtics level. In the East, there was the Celtics all season and everyone else because Milwaukee never can get their crap together. This was a year, if you got the right matchups, you could have made a deep run. If the Heat gave a crap about the regular season, writing that again tomorrow on my Ask Ira because I'm fed up about it, there's one team in the East. Heat wins 2 more games. They're in the exact same spot right now that Indiana is. Feasting on a hurt New York team, getting ready to play Boston in the conference finals, but you didn't give a crap and you paid for it. But to me, as I watch the NBA finals, I don't know what the odds are. I think there are 3 teams with legitimate championship resumes. The Celtics, the Nuggets, and the Timberwolves, and everyone else is just out there having a nice little time.
So let me ask you something. What is it about the Celtics that they have that thing, that lull in them, that letdown in them, like they did with the Heat?
Sure, game 2.
They kicked the Heat's ass in game 1 in the first half. And then the big 2 got bored in the second half, kind of coasted in that first game. And then they got bored and it rolled over into game 2 where Miami came out red hot. And by the time they woke up, it was too late. You're done. You can't get in there. And then they woke up and took care of it. And again, it happened in this series where they kind of like let a team back in. It's like we know they have the talent, but there's a chink in the armor that there's a weakness. They will give you an opportunity to get into a game or a series if you let them fall asleep a little bit or something. I bore them a little bit or something. I don't get it. There's something about this Celtics team that they can't, like the Panthers. The Panthers were off for a week and you saw that it hurt them a little bit in game 1. Then they got their wake-up call, and they've been the best team right there from the get-go, and they've proven it. The Celtics can do stuff like that, but they don't. So
you know what? But the Celtics remind me of the Panthers a little, or I should say the Panthers remind me of the Celtics. They know they're good enough to win any game against any team, but sometimes they just need that little bit of a spark. For the Panthers, it was losing the 1 game to the Bruins. I think it's the same thing for the Celtics, losing the 1 game to the Heat, 1 game in the series against Cleveland. That's why we call it a gentleman's sweep, the 5-game series, because sometimes what's my motivation here? Oh, you think you're good enough because you won game 2? Well, here, boom, 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 take care of you. That's what I expect in this series. If they play the Knicks, I expect the same thing in the next series, and then they'll have something real in front of them. And then they'll have someone telling them from the get-go, hey, this Denver team can beat you. This Timberwolves team can beat you. And I think it'll have their full attention. They're that much better. I would expect the Panthers to do the same thing. They'll let the Rangers play their little ice-capades and skate around them for a game and Panarin get his goal. And then they'll say, we're going to check the crap out of them. We're going to start hitting them again. We'll take care of them. Because when you know you're better, sometimes you need that little bit of extra motivation. The difference with the Celtics is they're without a leading man right now in Kristaps Porzingis. So they are biding their time a little. But when that roster is whole, which it wasn't even at the end of the Heat series, you have talent in that starting lineup. Derek White's an all-star level player. Drew Holiday's been an all-star. The 2 Jays, we know who they are. Porzingis, one of the best offseason additions. There is a reason Brad Stevens is Executive of the Year for what he put together and how we put it together. We're saying the same thing with Bill Zito right now with the Panthers, how you put it together. You know what? It's so simple. Talent wins in sports. The Panthers are unbelievably talented, that their 3rd and even 4th lines with Lorenz right now are giving you goals. We're seeing that. Same thing with the Celtics is they have a depth of talent in their starting lineup. It could be different guys every day, but you could see the talent makes the difference on both ends.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right. So you've been able to gather some information. You had the closing meetings, everything going on. What do you anticipate with Butler and company? Because message has been kind of sent without even having to ask. You're not getting an extension. They're not going to give you an extension. You can ask for one if you want, but you're not going to get one, and that's pretty obvious right now. So what do you think happens?
You know, I wrote about this in my Sunday column at the Sun Sentinel. Right now, the Heat have too many high number salaries on their payroll. Look, I know you talk about how the Arison should pay the tax and not say anything, which I don't disagree with, Big O. But there also are rules in place that if your payroll is too high, you can't make certain trades. You can't aggregate. You lose your draft choice. You have to pull back a little.
In this case, I'm not saying overpay here. I'm not saying I've been for a while now. For over a year now, you and I have been talking about this. I'm not extending Butler anymore. I'm done with Butler already. So I don't need.
You're going to have the salaries of Butler and Adebayo and Hero and Rozier and Duncan Robinson. It's going to be hard to get any better when you're carrying all five of those. So what I wrote is they're going to have to offload someone, not necessarily rats off the ship, but they're going to have to say which salary we get rid of, and it makes it easier to maneuver forward because of that. I felt since the day the trade was made that Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier are somewhat redundant. As much as Duncan Robinson came back at his pay grade, we're seeing almost in every series you find a shooter out there. I mean, look at Dante DiVincenzo and what he's doing with the Knicks. He's like the greatest shooter ever. You can find those guys anyway. So here's what I raised, and I even mentioned this to Jimmy's agent as we spoke. What if the Heat say we're to do a deal just like this, spitballing? Don't aggregate this out there, people. We know Philadelphia wants to get someone who can help them take the next step. They have $55 million. They can sign Paul George into their cap space. If it's a sign and trade and the Clippers move Paul George to the Sixers, they can take in Jimmy Butler's contract into their cap space. He can send out Jimmy for $50 million, get a couple of draft choices, which they need, and Norman Powell back for $20 million. Now, is Norman Powell as good as Jimmy Butler? No. But he can score, and he lets you reset your payroll to see one, like Big O, you're saying, hey, let's start Jaime Jaquez Jr. for a season in Jimmy's role. Let's see if he can do it. We have to learn. Let's learn about our young players for a season. If not, we'll have the financial flexibility to move forward. I could see that kind of deal where if you look on the face of it, Big O, and you tell me, whoa, you're telling me you're trading Jimmy Butler for Norman Powell, are you a moron? No, but as you know from your hard cap in football and other sports, sometimes you have to take a step back salary-wise to reset the ship.
Yes. There's nothing.
It's nothing the Marlins would do it just to save the money. It's not like you're sending out the batting champion to save the money. You're doing it to reset your books. You know, matter of fact, the perfect example is because I have listened to the Big O show over the years. And you were the first one who mentioned the Ndamukong Suh contract and how it was going to absolutely cripple the franchise with that level of money. Sometimes money, even well spent, can be overspent. So, yeah, you know what? You're saying there's no Jimmy Butler extension. I'm curious if there's going to be a Jimmy Butler. And I think ever since Pat Riley started talking, wheels are turning around the league. And now we're going to see how this plays out.
Listen, the Heat and Pat Riley and Mickey Arison have already given us more than enough. You greedy bastards out there, all of you, okay? All you Heat Nation out there, okay? You've won way more than most people. There is nothing wrong with taking a couple steps back for a couple of years where you want to clear out some salaries so you can kind of reset. You got a bunch of young guys that we can actually watch, learn, watch them grow, and then you can develop a core that now you could go get yourself liquid and go get a star. I think after 2008 through 10, we understand the machinations of what goes on in this league, how you have to reset.
And I'm not so sure you have to step that far back. Remember, to get to 2010, when the Heat went through in 08 and 09, they still made the playoffs. Yes. They still were a contending team. So here's my question. Can the Heat also be an eighth-place team without Jimmy Butler? That's the thing. They're an eighth-place team with them. So you can be an eighth-place team. You can enjoy the fun of a round of the playoffs. You don't have to see Alonzo Mourning scowling on the lottery stage up there, dealing with that indignation, and you could still be a different team. So I wrote about this in my Ask Ira also, and I need to know this, Heat Nation out there. Are you okay with being fun, hardworking, competing every single night, possibly finish 42-40, but know there's something on the other side of the rainbow that you can get back eventually to that pot of gold?
Hey, listen, this is what I would tell anybody that fights that. Hey, asshole, did you see what they did back in the 2000s? when they had to reset and then they brought in Zoe and Timmy and Marley and all that. Hey, asshole, you see when they reset and they brought in Shaq and the boys after they had to break up Butler and Odom. Hey, asshole, you remember 2010? Okay. Hey, you remember they went and got Jimmy Butler? My point is they are allowed to reset because they know how to reload. If you tell me it's the Marlins, I'm telling you, F you, asshole. They don't know how to do anything right. But these guys, they know how to do it right. But what I've talked about now for years now, they have done things anti-Heat the last few years. They're signing the wrong people. They're giving the wrong people money. They've traded for the wrong people. They've drafted the wrong people.
No, the draft has come around. They had, but they haven't lately. Right.
No, what I'm saying is in the last 10 years, there's been a lot of mistakes that they've made, and it set them back. Where the first 20 years, they were kind of hitting it out of the park constantly. The last 10, they've been kind of chasing their tail all over.
I mean, when you have a year when you take Precious Achiuwa over Tyrese Maxey, it'll set you back a little bit.
Take the point guard for LeBron, and you bring in Granger and this guy, and you give Whiteside and Tyler and all those guys money, and the hero contract hasn't really worked out for you and all that kind of. It's just there's been a lot of shit that's gone on in the last 10 years that hasn't. They really haven't made great decisions, and they've been so desperate. They've given out all their draft capital. They need to take a couple steps back. Let's get some draft capital back. Let's build some stuff up. Let's steal.
And I can do that with a Jimmy Butler trade if you understand that Jimmy helped get you to the finals twice in 4 years, and instead of the finals, it might just be the conference semifinals. And if you can deal with that, I think there is a path forward.
And a year without Jimmy, and maybe Tyler's out there for the next year with you. Maybe he builds his value up again, and somebody in the trading deadline next year, he's hot. They take him off. You get more draft capital.
Maybe Rozier seizes his moment. You get to establish a little more. You get to explore a little more. Have no issue with that as long as people, and they're listening every week in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report, understand sometimes you have to take a slight dip, not lottery dip, just to get back up on the other side. I'm fine with that.
And they are the people that can do it. That's my problem with all of this, that these are the kind of people that I don't have a problem with. Hey, look, man, we're going to take a step back at the year or two. Got to get some salaries out. Got to get some draft capital. Dude, that makes all the sense in the world. Let's go. Let's move forward. Let's add more banners up there. Let's go. Because the last 10 years, you're kind of chasing your tail. You can't get that other star for Jimmy. Now he's gotten too old for you. It's over now. You've got to turn the page. And just it seems like they might be finally focused on that. I want you to do a little bit of what OKC did and then do it Heat style, where you can finish it off with a star somewhere.
Hey, you know what? And the Jimmy Butler trade could be that, because think about the Paul George trade, how it got him Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and first-round capital. So if you're bold, now again, I don't want to go too long in this week's segment, but again, did you wait a year too long? And we'll pick that up next week, Big O, because I know your thoughts on that.
Oh, yeah, they did wait a year too long, but right now you still have a team in Philadelphia that's desperate enough.
Yes. And the Clippers desperate enough also after Paul George and going out in the first round. Yeah, I agree.
That's true. So you have enough that maybe you might be able to unload Jimmy there and try to turn the team around. It's just they're the right people to have the patience with. This is the right organization. So let's just do it the right way. You've done it before. Let's do it again, man. The way you're doing it now, it's not working. What you're doing now is not working. You know what I mean? So you got to get rid of Jimmy and Tyler somehow, and Bam has to stay. As much as I say he's a super role player, Bam's not the problem here, okay? He's not the issue here. You've got to surround him with the other two stars, and then everything will be just fine. I don't have a problem with that, but it's just we got to build it the right way here, and they're not building it the right way. All right, what do you got going on this end?
We're going to Ask Ira today about a lot of people are linking Zach Edey to the Heat, Purdue Center National two-time Player of the Year at 15 is possible. So would the Heat actually go for another big man alongside Bam and playing with the 4? I think it'll be interesting if Zach is there when they get to number 15. That's worth exploring. And I spoke to Patty Mills and DeLon Wright at the end of the season, whether they'd like to come back. They said yes, but now the Heat have to decide, enough with new country for old men, or whether they need to go back to the kids. That'll come down to Josh Richardson, whether he opts in, and what did he do with their glut of guards. So at least they know they have a couple of guys who spent a couple of months here, know the system, want to be back. So they'll sort of be waiting in the wings. Two good guys. I would not mind DeLon Wright coming back. I think he was very productive in the 2 months that he played here.
No, I don't have a problem with DeLon Wright. In fact, I think Rozier will play his best basketball he's ever played in his life next year. Yes. Once they get him now for an entire offseason and
in the system, healthy, absolutely.
All that, he was already doing that. He was already turning the corner as it is. I think Terry will grow like crazy. I think like most players, if you're committed, you're going to grow here every single time, pretty much. So, yeah. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his exceptional work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Catch you next week, Accurate Pembroke Pines. We'll talk about what the Knicks do next after being eliminated. Thanks, Big O.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you all out there, as always. Don't forget, you can visit our great friends at Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. And go see Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. And, folks, they got some deals going on. They've got their 16th anniversary sale going on right now. You can get 3.9% financing for 60 months. The 2024 Integra, $319. The 2024 RDX, $419. The MDX 2024, $429. Again, 3.9% financing for 60 months. They've also got a fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles. Man, they look like they're brand new. They're in amazing shape. So get on down there, check it out. And if you own or lease an Acura, Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber, they do a great job running that service department. So tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. Thank you all out there as always. Appreciate you all. Remember, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Ho Yoon, you sir, as always, making a donation every week to the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, sir, for your amazing dedication to the show every single week. I appreciate it. That is awesome. That's what keeps Sean and myself going, man. Visiting our sponsors, donations, our merchandise. Now we got our merch. So we've got our merch link and everything. It's bigoradioshow.myshopify.com. Okay. And we have our own billboard for it and everything that Sean was kind enough to make for us. So when it pops up, you could use a QR code. But if not, oh, you know what? We should add it on that scroll right there on the bottom. I don't know if you've added it already. Let's add. You did already? Probably. But on that scroll, we'll add it. bigoradioshow.myshopify.com is the new. And by the way, the link is right there on our YouTube page. So you could get it and visit our merch store. Okay? Appreciate you all out there. As always, Eddie Lepp says, I always talk about mental toughness, and that's what this Cats team has. Yes, you are 1,000% right, Eddie. Definitely. They are as tough as it gets, dude. Jeremy says, if the Celtics take on the Nuggets, they will lose in 4 games. I can see them winning a game or two in that one. Do you think that injury Messi got before halftime will cause him to miss a half against Orlando? I don't know. We'll see. No idea. Oh, I hope you weren't dancing on the ceiling on your way out of the show. I was like, what a con artist. That's what I was. I was like, wow, this guy can't sing anymore. He talks the words now. It's bad. Glad Phil Collins realized he was done. Well, Phil's problem was more he physically broke down, dude. So it wasn't so much his physical ailments affected him. You know what I mean? But he could still sing, but it's really more about his physical ailments, because I saw him and he could still sing, but it was hurting him a little bit because of the physical ailments. It wasn't because like Vince Neil lost his, like he's shot, his voice is shot, or Coverdale or Lionel Richie or many singers, you know, like their voice gets shot. Phil, it was different. It was more about the physical ailments that ended up affecting him. Kind of a shame, dude. Really. Let's see. Miles Deep says, greeting Stones. We're playing. Oh, the Stones were playing at Allegiant Stadium on Friday. Great show. It was my first rock concert. Wow. Damn. And he's still rocking, bro. He's 80 years old and he's still rocking. He always had a sound. He didn't have a voice, so it doesn't matter for him. Billy Joe could and did still hit those high notes at MSG and Innocent Man. He can't hit them like he used to, but he did a pretty good job overall, considering. It's a mindset, Big O. No dog. Their dog is manufactured. Yep. Measured 6'8.75", barefoot, Bam Adebayo at NBA Combine. We need Zach Edey. I don't know if he'll last to Miami's pick. I would imagine he's going to go a little earlier than that, but I don't know enough about that to really be accurate on that. Adolfo says, Big O, quick question. I want to get the hat, but does not show the back. I was wondering, the hat, it has something in the back. It does have something in the back. Let me see something here. I don't know if I sent it to Sean or not. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure it does have in the back. It has the on YouTube daily 10 a.m. on the back. It does have it. And I don't know.
I think he's trying to find out, is it a flex hat or if it's a.
No. It's a fits all hat. It's an adjustable one. It's not sized or anything. Like this one is adjustable. My Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not this. It's this. So if that's what you're asking, yes. And I thought I put the picture up. I thought I put the second picture up for the back end of the hat. I guess I didn't. I guess I'm going to have to fix that. Yeah, you know, it's kind of, this is the first day that it's actually up. So there you go. Okay. I was wondering if I can close and can be adjusted. Oh, adjusted. Yes. It can be adjusted. Yes. Oscar Rojas, good morning, Big O. Sean, Big O Nation, smashing the like button from surfing capital Florida, Melbourne. Yeah. So Cocoa Beach and Melbourne are kind of close to each other. So Melbourne over Cocoa Beach? I thought it was Cocoa Beach number one, right? Like down in South Florida, it's like the Sebastian Inlet, right? I'm not a surfer. I am not well-versed in this, and I know we're not really a surfing capital. Okay, I know we're not like the West Coast or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But I think here in Florida, right, I think they go to the Sebastian Inlet, right, for some surfing. And then I thought it was Cocoa Beach over Melbourne. I know that's the area that's better for it here in Florida on the East Coast here on the Florida side. But I thought it was Cocoa Beach where they kind of the surfers went. So Melbourne, Chad says Melbourne 100%. All right. I got to go with you guys on this. I don't know shit about this. So what can I tell you? I am not a smart man when it comes to that. I've never been a surfer in my life. What else do we have? Sebastian Inlet is the best surf in Florida. My uncle's a surfer and lives on the inlet. Oh, okay. So Sebastian Inlet over Cocoa Beach and Melbourne? Wow. I heard so much about Sebastian Inlet being, for South Floridians, like really good. But I thought it was Cocoa Beach. So I'm misinformed here. I don't have the rankings right here, apparently. Sebastian Inlet is just south of Melbourne. Cocoa can be decent, says Brian. Oscar says Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, and Sebastian Inlet all in the same area. Same thing, Big O. Well, but isn't it Sebastian Inlet's more south, right? Isn't it? I get what you're saying, but there is a little separation. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of like in the same 40, 50 mile area or something. I get what you're saying. All right. I'm okay with not seeing Jimmy in the regular. Oh, I am not. That's why you're in the 8th seed, dude. F no, Lewis. No way, dude. No effing way. I'm going Hall & Oates for that. I can't go for that. No can do. No dice, bro. No dice. You're not getting me to do that. No effing way, bro. Nope. Cannot do it, won't do it. That's all I can tell you. All right. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Panthers over the Bruins last night, 3-2 to take a commanding 3-1 lead. Barkov, Bennett, and Lundell with goals. Lundell also added an assist. Bob only had 16 saves yesterday. Swayman had 38 saves. So it shows you how hot they are. Game 5 on Tuesday at Amarant Bank, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Love it. Pacers over the Knicks, 121-89. That series is tied up at 2. Nuggets over the T-Wolves, 115-107. That series is tied up at 2. Jokic had 35 points. Gordon had 27. Murray, 19. The Ant-Man with 44 in a losing cause. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Boston leading 2-1 in this series. Celtics taking on the Cavs. 9:30 tonight on TNT. Dallas leading 2-1. Thunder will visit the Mavs. And tonight in hockey, the next series will be between the winner of the Hurricanes and the Rangers. And right now the Rangers are leading 3-1. So you are rooting for the Hurricanes tonight at 7 o'clock. Also, InterMiami on Saturday defeated Montreal. They got their revenge, 3-2. League leading 27 points. MLS league leading, not conference. League leading 27 points. Cincinnati, by the way, is second in the conference at 24. On the western side, Salt Lake is number 1 at 22. So your InterMiami, the Herons, are number 1 in the MLS point total overall. Rojas with un golazo in the 44th minute. Suarez added another one in the extra time in the first half. And then Kramaski added the third goal in the second half in the 59th minute. They have won 5 in a row. They've got 2 games. I love it. We have 2 games this week with the Panthers. With the InterMiami. Wednesday, they're in Orlando at 7:30. Orlando, by the way, is in 11th place in the conference with only 12 points. And Saturday, they host DC United, so they don't leave the state. So on the road in Orlando, not a big deal. Then you come back home against DC United. DC is in 7th place in the conference with 17 points. Both are very winnable games, an opportunity to pick up 6 points this week for Inter Miami. That would be enormous. And, of course, our update would not be complete if we didn't talk a little baseball. The Canes took 2 of 3 from Virginia Tech. All right? They lost on Sunday but won on Friday and Saturday. Tomorrow they will take on FIU at 6 o'clock. And then Thursday they will finish the regular season with their final series of the ACC against Pittsburgh at Mark Light Field Thursday. Okay? That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Call the great people there, Alan Blanco, custom printing and embroidery. They do all our stuff, which we are now going to start printing and sending out. So looking forward to it. All right. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. I have no problem with the Heat taking a step back. They've given me a lot of good memories these past 5 years. We've been through 7 NBA finals since 2010. I've been super spoiled. Exactly, dude. We should have more than, and they're the ones. I don't want to hear the Marlins about retooling, rebuilding, or nothing like that, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You never do. Okay, so that I don't want to hear. But the Heat is the one franchise that can tell me, hey, we need to take a couple steps back to take a couple steps forward. Okay? So, by the way, there it is, Johnny. Johnny is an absolute monster when it comes to graphic designs. If you go onto our merch page, you will see John's designs there. And we've got more in the works now. We're working on some more stuff. But he can help you, logo, business identity, business materials. He can help you with social media, merchandising, packing, all that stuff. He does it all. So please call my guy, John. He will take care of you. Custom tailored graphic designs that will leave a lasting impression. You can see some of his work on our stuff, but call John, check it out. There you go. You've got the email, jragoni@yahoo.com. You can reach out to him. John Ragoni, baby. Okay? He knows how to get it done. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? My cousin is doing a great job for Inter Miami. LOL. Oh, Rojas. Okay, I got you. I got you. That was a goal, dude. That was a goal and a half. Holy shit. That was worth the watch. Period. I didn't need Messi to score. If Rojas is going to score like that, and Suarez and company, Kromaski's goal was fantastic. How the fact that the kid never gave up, had the defender on him, and then the goalie closing, and he was able to sneak it past both. That was just beautiful, dude. And it kind of like just slowly rolled in. So it looked like it took forever to score that goal. That was fantastic, man. So happy that Kromaski is back because he just adds another element. He's so good at passing. He's good at finishing. He's got a lot of talent, man. And he's nothing right now. He's a baby. He doesn't even know what he's doing yet. He doesn't even know how good he is or how good he can be. That's the cool part with Kromaski. He's got so much room to grow. I don't know about you guys, but like I live for Saturdays now. You know, and I was so happy that the Panthers played Friday and Sunday because I didn't have to like have my head on a swivel and looking at both, even though I know the Panthers are literally in the playoffs right now. But what Inter Miami's doing, it's fun, man. It's fun. You got the best team in the MLS right here in your backyard. You got one of the greatest player to ever play the game, arguably top 3, top 5, whatever you want to do, playing in your town with some other pretty special players, and they're doing a lot of fun shit. I know they're frustrating defensively. They are. And they have this tendency of wanting to fall behind early. I don't know what it is. Some weird shit, but man, I'm jacked that we have, and the Panthers play on Tuesday. So that means Wednesday there will be no Panthers. So it won't get in the way of InterMiami. Okay. So I like it. I hope it stays this way, because throughout the year it's frustrating when the Panthers and the Heat are playing at the same time and you want to keep up with both. At least those of us that, love both sports and keep up with both teams. Let me see, what else do we have? Where is Bitcoin at right now? It's at 62,900. So it's like flirting with 63 right now. Okay. And where is the market? It is in the green, not a lot, but at least it's nearly 47 points. S&P is nearly 4 points, and the NASDAQ is up about half a point. So it's in the green, not majorly in the green, but at least the markets are somewhere in the green. If Bitcoin has Roman candled, by the time the Raiders come to Miami, do you plan to be there to welcome Wilkins back? Come to Miami? Oh, but I'll be doing a pre and post game show, dude. I can't go to games. So that's not an option for me, my friend. I don't go to Dolphin games, really, overall. I may go to a road game this year because NorCal may set it up for me and Sean. We might go to a road game, and then that will adjust our pre and post game shows. Might be a little delayed, that kind of stuff. But I normally don't do that because I do it, leading up to kickoff, and then we're on right after the game ends. And so I kind of like doing it that way. But if I do go to any game next year, it might be a road game. It won't be a home game. I can guarantee you that. And hopefully we'll have a sponsor this year where we can do our pre and post game show and have a bunch of you all join us like you've done in years past. So let's hope so. Chad says, Big O, hear me out. Benny coming back has been the difference the last 2 games. I think that physically and enforcing. Oh, definitely. But I got to tell you, without Benny, I think they can beat Boston. He adds the physical element and all that stuff, but I think this team is deep enough that they could have beat him without Benny. They lost that first game because what are you going to do, dude? They were off for a week and you can't do anything about it. You lose a little bit of your edge and, shit happens. But it is what it is. Why don't we have some people that say the Florida Panthers aren't a Miami team just because they play in Sunrise? They're a team that plays in the Miami metropolitan area. Hamza, first of all, who gives a shit if they play in Miami or Sunrise or Hollywood or whatever? I mean, what are you listening to? Who cares about morons like that? Seriously. So the Dolphins play in Miami Gardens. They don't play in Miami. Big deal. Am I not supposed to love them because they're not in Miami? Because Joe Robbie had to move the team? I can't do anything about that. You know what I'm saying? They're our team. That's all. So I'm not supposed to root for the Owls at FAU because they're in Boca? South Florida is our town. You know what I mean? Whether you live in Hallandale or Miami or Homestead or Goulds or whatever, dude. West Palm, Boca, who gives a shit, dude? It's kind of all the same thing. It's just a nice big old metropolitan area. but they're all our teams. That's the way I look at it. That's the way we all should look at it. Anybody arguing anything different, I mean, give me a break, dude. That's some childish bullshit is what that is. That's what I would tell you. I would tell you, don't listen to idiots like that. Okay? I usually can't wait for Saturday nights now. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, shit, man. It's one of those things. I can't wait for Inter to play. But I've always been a soccer guy. So it didn't matter if it was the Miami FC, didn't matter if it was the Strikers. I've always been a really pro soccer guy and always working with the teams. So I'm glad I'm no longer, because I hated working for teams. I did it because I want to help and want to promote soccer locally and want it to grow since I'm a fan of it. But working for the teams suck, because then you kind of take a whole different approach because they're paying you. So, it's hard for you to rip the people that pay you a check, and so that puts you in a terrible position. We need to get you in LA and Seattle. See, that's what NorCal is doing. So if NorCal is able to, foot the bill for us to go to LA and Seattle, how am I going to pass that up? So Sean and I could be going to LA and Seattle. That would be pretty cool. If I go to Seattle, I have to go to Jimi Hendrix burial site. Got to do that. I've been all over LA, so maybe there's a concert or something that weekend. But definitely if I'm going to Seattle, the one thing I've got to do is go pay homage to the man. The man, Jimi Hendrix. B Stuck the Poet says, what up, Big O? Not sure if you've covered this. Is there anything the Dolphins can do to combat turf injuries this year, i.e. playing in MetLife? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen. No, bro. That's just bad luck. And you just got to hope that your players, can stay healthy. That's all. We just need some luck, dude. We've had terrible luck the last 2 years. That, to me, has been the biggest problem for the Dolphins. Anthony Campbell says, since the past NBA champs teams of decades would say Spurs, Warriors, Lakers, which other teams you think the Heat maybe, but they only won 2? Which was the best teams? I mean, you have to go with the Spurs because they won so many with that same group pretty much. Got to give them a lot of love, man. They won a lot of championships in a window that pretty damn impressive. By the way, the Sebastian Inlet is probably the best fishing spot or area in Florida. There you go. I wouldn't know that either. I could tell you about some rumored stuff. I've heard the surfing stuff. Hanging out with guys that are surfers. Not that I know shit about it. Now, fishing, I know even less about that. So I couldn't tell you if you're right or wrong about the Sebastian Inlet and fishing. I wouldn't know. So I would have to take your word for it. Let's see. I like that Bitcoin hat. We'll pick one up this Friday, sir. Well, thank you, Evan. I know you're talking about the one on our merch page. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Cap for Life says, I got a fever. And the only prescription is more goals, bro. Hamza says he agrees 100%. Yeah, bro. What are we listening? We don't need to listen to those people, Hamza. You and I are fans of our hometown teams. Period. Doesn't matter. You can be in Parkland or Key West. We're all one. Exactly, dude. The Inter defense is Swiss cheese during the first half. At least they do somewhat better in the second half. Yeah. Willie out in Colombia is in the house, no doubt. In your opinion, do Boston fans' tears taste the best? Just a little bit behind the New Yorkers. But I'll go with New Yorker tears first. Then we'll go with the Bostonians. NorCal says, made a double batch of brownies yesterday. Anyone here planning to attend the Fins Up SoCal fan club picnic this Saturday in San Bernardino? Shit, I would go just for those brownies. And by the way, if you guys pull it off, NorCal, and you could get us out to Los Angeles or Seattle, bring some brownies. Let's see. I find it ironic that Boston's crying foul on Bennett's hit on Marchand, who is one of the dirtiest players in the NHL. Marchand is known for low hits, taking out knees and slew foots. So dirty. Where is Campana? Do you think Rojas has now benched No, it's just Campana's been injury prone. So that's probably why they're using him off the bench and he's limited. You know what I mean? Campana's real problem is you need to stop getting injured, bro. You've gotten injured now and you barely play. When he used to play a lot, he'd break down a lot. That would be a problem. So we talked about overhyping rookie camp. Albert Wilson has retired. I wonder if some folks in the media are having a eulogy. Are they gathering around to have a seance or something to, wish Albert Wilson the best in his retirement? Because, I mean, that 2018 when he had 391 yards and 4 touchdowns, boy, those great memories. Anyway, good for him. He made it to the NFL, retired. It's just, I will never let up and laughing my ass off at media members that talk this guy up like he was the second coming. It was just some funny shit back in the day. I got to tell you. Just funny shit. It's stuff that I, can't get enough of, to be quite honest. Because it was just too funny. Things that made no sense to me. And I'm wondering, what are you people seeing? Because I don't see the same thing, Anyway, let's get to a little music history. On May 13th, on this date in 2006, Godsmack had the #1 album in the country with 4, their second record to top the charts. In 93, an episode of The Simpsons titled Krusty Gets Canceled aired, featuring the voices of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. In 69, Led Zeppelin became the first major British rock group to perform in Hawaii when they played the Civic Auditorium in Honolulu. In 96, Oasis became the fastest-selling group in the UK history when all 330,000 tickets for their summer shows sold out in just 9 hours. In 85, Bruce Springsteen married actress Julianne Phillips in Lake Oswego, Oregon. The pair would divorce 4 years later. In 66, the Kinks recorded their hit song, Sunny Afternoon. In 89, on this date, Bon Jovi went to #1 on the singles charts with I'll Be There For You. The group's 4th U.S. #1. In 2000, I don't even want to read her. She makes me sick. I don't care about that scum. Let's go to Mega Millions. The Mega Millions jackpot on Friday will roll over to tomorrow, Tuesday, May 14th. 0 players matched all 6 numbers for the $331 million drawing on Friday night. The jackpot will increase now to $363 million for Tuesday night's drawing. The numbers were 13, 22, 26, 32, and 65. Golden ball was 18. All right. You got that. Those of you that saw the movie Jaws, At the beginning of the movie, the blonde that is out there swimming and dies. She's the first one to, get taken by the fish. Well, the actress Susan Backline has passed away at the age of 77. She's best known for portraying the young woman that goes for a late-night ocean swim to be eaten by the shark in the opening scene of the 75 thriller. She passed away in her home Saturday in California. It's with heartfelt regret to confirm our beloved Susan has passed away this morning. We would like to thank everyone for their condolences at this time. Please respect the family's privacy. So there you go. It's kind of like she's like famous because it's that scene from that movie. Now, for you youngins, she's not famous. For older people, she is, because everybody saw that movie, and the opening scene was the famous, very, very infamous scene. Let's put it that way. Let's go with some birthdays today. TV actress Debbie Ryan is 31. Robert Pattinson, actor, is 38. Stevie Wonder is 74. What a legend, bro. A freaking legend. Let's see. Dennis Rodman is 63. Pusha T, rapper, is 47. Richie Valens was born on this date in 41. We lost him in 59 in that plane accident. Darius Rucker is 58. A lot of entertainers on this one. Rapper Randolph, rapper Baby Tate. Any of those real? Never heard of them. I wouldn't know. Stephen Colbert is 60 years old today. And B. Arthur. And then there's Maude. And Golden Girls, of course. Born in 22 on this date. We lost her in 2009. Maude was an absolutely fantastic show. And Adrienne Barbeau, you made it that much special. I'm just going to be honest, That's all I got to say. Michael Madden, happy birthday to you, the bassist for Maroon 5. He was born on this date in 1979. Buckethead, guitarist. Brian Patrick Carroll, known as Buckethead. He's worked with a ton of musicians, including being a member of Guns N' Roses back in 2000 to 2004. Born on this date in 1969. Let's see. Let me see if there's any other. Julian Brookhouse from Curiosity Killed the Cat was born in 1963 on this date. Paul Thompson, drummer with Roxy Music, was born on this date in 1951. Bassist for Mata Hoople, Overend Watts, Pete Overend Watts, was born on this date in 1947. We lost him at the age of 69 in 2017 of cancer. Magic Dick, harmonica player with the Jay Giles Band. If I remember correctly, he had a beard. And he was born in 1945 on this date. Mary Wells, My Guy, written by Smokey Robinson. She was born on this date in 1943. And those are some of the folks celebrating birthdays today. Okay? All right. And there you go. And by the way, if you are a Bad Bunny fan this week, you can see him at the Kia Center in Orlando Friday and Saturday night for you Bad Bunny fans. I cannot get into that music at all. Okay? At all. Inter Miami got a win. I see a Perdomo cigar. Give them, Sean Stanley, a victory cigar. The Florida Panthers, they defeated the Boston Bruins not once, but twice over the weekend. So let's give them back-to-back victory cigars. Canes baseball. They won the series, right? They took 2 of 3 from Vatek. Give them a victory cigar. Those that went and bought Bitcoin in the 60,000, 61,000 range because they had conviction, and they woke up today in the 63,000 area, give them a victory cigar. See what I'm talking about? That's how it goes. That's how it goes, baby. That's how it goes. That's what it's all about. Thank you all out there. And remember, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. By the way, Sean, you are the best. You are the best. QR code and everything. You are amazing. And if you have not heard and you're just tuning in, our merchandise store is open finally. You can use that QR code to get into it. If you're listening on the podcast, you got to go to bigoradioshow.myshopify.com. Okay. Betty White was a golden girl on Golden Girls. Yes. She was golden on Golden Girls. Yes, she was. They were all golden on Golden Girls. Big O, hear me out. Bad Bunny, not a bad wrestler as a musician. I know he's done that shit. I don't watch it, so I don't know. But, you know, more power to him, bro. Smart to do that. That's a great way to market yourself. You know how many people watch wrestling? That shit's got a great crowd, man. People love wrestling, dude. It's been beloved for decades. Well over 50 years, this has been a beloved sport, and all it's done is grown, and its mass appeal is there. You know, just because I'm not necessarily this big wrestling guy or anything like that, that doesn't mean that you don't give it the respect it deserves, because they're packing stadiums and arenas everywhere, and they get ratings up the yin yang. So it's impressive. So if you want to market yourself to a big crowd and you're in another genre and you got an opportunity to cross over into wrestling, like Logan Paul and like Bad Bunny and a slew of others have done over the years. Super smart, dude. Super smart. Let's see what else. I'd rather see Bad Bunny try wrestling than listen to his music. I can't listen to any. The reggaeton stuff does nothing for me. So I can't do any of that stuff. To me, it's all same mumbo jumbo crap. Yes, I remember Adrian Barbeau in Escape from New York. Of course, I remember Adrian Barbeau in Escape from New York. Yes. It's the one thing that Brain had right. Adrian Barbeau. How Brain ended up with Adrian Barbeau, it makes no sense. And then he dies in the bridge, and she just says, Snake, give me the gun. And Snake, like, understands. And then she's, she dies at the hands of the Duke of New York. The Duke of New York. Never, what a waste. If I was Snake, I would have grabbed her, put her over my shoulder, and I would have ran to that wall. I'm taking Barbeau with me. Okay? Not wasting her by leaving her there. What kind of crap is that? What is wrong with you, Snake? I'll never forgive Snake Plissken for that. He just left Adrian Barbeau there. And Isaac, why'd you run her over? Jesus, Isaac. What a waste. Doesn't make any sense. You don't let Adrian Barbeau go to waste. You savor it. Every bit of it. Anyway. Who's worse, Bad Bunny or the clown we have in the White House? Well, they're both Bad Bunnies. So either way, we'll vote in another clown to replace that clown. And then we'll replace that clown with another clown like we do every 4 years. So it doesn't really matter. Let's see. Cap 100 best pay-per-view on PR was a hell of a pay-per-view. Escape from LA. Oh, no, Escape from LA was terrible. That was that one was just, that should have never been made. That was a total money grab. Escape from LA. That was total. I watched it once and I never watched Escape from LA ever again. I never, ever wanted to see that movie ever again. Now, Escape from New York, I'll rewatch it at least 50 times over the next 20 years. And I've already seen it another 100 times. And if I run into it, I'll stop and watch. Practically every time. Escape from New York is one of those movies. I run into Star Wars, I watch some of it. Any of them. Just Animal House, old school, just kind of, Shawshank, it's just one of those movies. You channel surf a little bit, and not that there's a lot of channel surfing left, but I can still do it on YouTube TV. And if I run into a movie, because you don't really channel surf on Prime and all that, but on YouTube you can still do it. And I don't know, those of you that may have cable still or whatever, you can still channel surf. And I run into those movies. There are certain movies that I run into, I'll just stop and watch it. And I don't care if I've seen Godfather 1,000 times. I want to watch it. And I'll be stuck there. My wife will go, because it's a guy thing. Haven't you seen this a bunch of times? Yeah. And then she'll just, shake her head, walk away like, what is wrong with this man? But it's a guy thing. Women don't understand it. They don't understand that stuff. But that's kind of what we do. It's a guy thing. My vote goes to Krusty the Clown in the upcoming election this time. I would vote in Krusty the Clown. That would be good. Better than the two clowns we're giving us now, yes. The basketball scene in Escape from LA, I don't remember it at all. I don't remember that movie at all anymore. Why do I remember surfing? Was there some surfing or something in Escape from LA? I really don't remember that movie anymore. It was so bad. It was like Fletch Lives. Like, I never watched Fletch Lives again. Like, I watched it and I was like, oh man, I can't get this hour and a half back in my life. And I've never seen Fletch Lives again. Never. I watched it the one time and it was more than enough. It did real damage to me. Okay. Escape from LA damaged me. Fletch Lives damaged me. And so there are certain things that you watch once, Ishtar, and you just never watch it again because you can't watch it again. It's just, no, can't do it. Adrienne Barbeau, the biggest breastists in Hollywood in the 70s and 80s. I don't know if they were the biggest, but she was smoking. That's all I can say. Good-looking woman. Yeah. I mean, you know, it was one day at a time, and I'm looking at one babe, and then it was Maude, and I'm looking at another babe. Because they kind of, you know, Bertinelli, One Day at a Time was a good show overall. It was funny. It was entertaining at that time. But Valerie Bertinelli had all my attention. And Maude was a phenomenal show because B. Arthur she was just awesome. But every time Adrienne Barbeau showed up, you were like, humming. You got to admit. Big O, my girls does that whenever I throw on the Waterboy or other Sandler movies I've seen 1,000 times. Exactly. Waterboy's another one of those that you just stop and watch, dude. I can't help myself. You know, I'll be cruising and St. Elmo's Fire will pop up, and my wife will say, "Haven't you seen that?" Yeah, but I'm gonna watch it again. I'll watch it and maybe I don't watch the whole movie. Maybe I watch it for 10, 20, 30 minutes just to watch a couple of scenes. You know, Old School's become that for me too. I can watch Old School in a loop, brother. I think that movie is freaking hilarious. I love that movie. I can't get enough of watching Old School. Yeah, some movies are like that. Fletch movies were brutal. No, Fletch was great. Brett. Fletch was great. Fletch Lives was terrible, but Fletch was great. Sally Struthers was hot in the early 70s. I mean, early All in the Family. I kind of get it that she was half decent looking, but I never really got into her because she was such a whiny character. So that took away from, you know, obviously she porked up like a lot of us do, but I never really looked at Sally Struthers as a sex object in those days. You know, give me Thelma in Good Times over Sally Struthers any day of the week and twice on Sundays. Give me the babes from Petticoat Junction over Sally Struthers. Give me Charlie's Angels over Sally, especially Jacqueline Smith, my favorite of all time. Cheryl Ladd, Farrah Fawcett. Oh, man. I could think of a lot of Valerie Bertinelli. Give me Valerie Bertinelli over Sally Struthers. I don't know. I can come up with a lot of women in the 70s to the early 80s, I think, where All in the Family ran. And I can think of certain women in different shows that I was way more. I never really found myself that attracted to Sally Struthers at all. Actually, now that I think about it, nah, never really. Blonde, blue eyes, you know, just that. But nah, didn't do it for me. Valerie Bertinelli, whew. Woo! That was like I couldn't miss that show. We didn't have anything to record or anything. I had to be right in front of the television to see Valerie Bertinelli every week. Man, I had a crush on that woman. Holy shit. Probably still do to this day. Okay? But nah, she didn't do it for me. Sally didn't. Barbara Eden, oh my God. Barbara Eden is that Rosendo, you just nailed like one of my 5 favorite women of like all time. All time. I could talk about Halle Berry and Barbara Eden, you know? Like right there. All time. Oh my God, all time. I think Barbara Eden is one of the hottest women to ever be created by the Lord. Right up there with Raquel Welch and Halle Berry and Salma Hayek and all. I put Barbara Eden right up there, dude. She's as beautiful and as fine as it ever got. Period. End of story. I'll tell you what. I find Bewitch way more hotter than Sally Struthers. I mean, I could come up with a whole bunch of them now that I think about it. A couple of those babes in Petticoat Junction were smoke shows, dude. Smoke shows. Especially the one with the black hair. Woo! Man, she was beautiful. So I would say there was a lot. Oh, Linda Carter, Erin Gray. Holy shit. Now you're knocking it out of the park there. Wonder Woman. Come on. And Erin Gray. Whew. Man. The Big Valley had some women. Dallas had some women. Ooh, yeah. Pamela. What's her name? Pamela Sue Martin? What's her name? Or what was her name? Pamela something from Dallas. You see? Here it is. Now I can pull up the and Charlize Tilton was kind of cute there too, by the way. Victoria
Geddes.
Pamela Barnes, Victoria Principal.
You're talking about Victoria. Oh, you were talking the character's name. Okay.
Yes. Pamela, whatever. Pamela Barnes Ewing. Yes. Victoria Principal. Oh. Man, I wasn't like a big Dallas guy, but I was a big Victoria Principal guy. Like I could stop and say, yeah, let me see this scene here. I see Pamela's in this scene right now. And so I could always stop. So I could pick a lot of women from that day, and none of them would be Sally Struthers. That would not be in my wheelhouse. No. Three's Company. I was actually a Janet fan more than a Chrissy fan. Believe it or not. Just like I mean, she was good looking, don't get me wrong. But on Gilligan's Island, I wasn't a ginger. I was a Marianne guy. I'm more of a brunette guy. I like brunettes over blondes. You know, so I'm more of a brunette. And if you have jet black hair, woo, doggy, that's like my ultimate weakness. Jet black hair, I think, is the sexiest hair on the planet. Pam Grier, woo. Pat, now you're talking like major league. Okay, when we're talking Foxy Brown and all that back in the day, the blaxploitation movies. How is it? Blaxploitation movies. Yes. Pam Grier. Pam Grier had one of the greatest bodies. Not only was she a good-looking woman, but the curvatures of her. Okay, you know, like when you go driving and it says "deadly curves ahead." That was Pam Grier. Deadly curves ahead. Pam Grier. Whew. That was unfair, Pam Grier. Yeah, Barbara Eden, the original Hips Don't Lie. I'm telling you, every one of us wanted to be trapped up in that bottle with her. Lock it up and leave me alone. Okay? It's completely the opposite of traffic. Traffic used to tell you to light me up and leave me alone. Well, lock up the bottle and leave me alone. I've got everything I want. I'm good. Me and Barbara Eden in this bottle. It's over. Pamela Hensley, the other girl from Buck Rogers, was gorgeous too. I don't remember her now. I remember Gray, but I don't remember her. She was beautiful too, Gray. Pamela Sue Martin on Nancy Drew smoking. Yes, she was cute. You are correct. That's another one. Very good. Very good. Black and green eyes. Take all my money, please. There you go. The black hair, green eyes. Yeah, that will. That's kind of a knockout. Yeah. Heather Thomas was a freaking babe. I used to have her poster in my room. Yes, Heather Thomas. Yes, definitely. J-Town with the little Olivia Newton-John. Rest in peace. By the way, we've got our opener for the NFL season. The Chiefs and the Ravens will be opening up the 2024 season on September 5th, Thursday night at Arrowhead Stadium on NBC. And that's good, because this gives Lamar Jackson a chance to win in the regular season, because, he doesn't really win much in the playoffs. So he'll have a chance here because it's the regular season. So it's pretty good, because if this was the playoffs, then we know he'd pee in his pants, because that's kind of what he does all the time, no matter how much people talk him up. I love it. I always love hearing people talk up a guy that chokes all the time in the playoffs, and they kind of leave that part out. But they just remember all those running stats. Yeah, keep remembering all those running stats. There you go. Marky Post, look at you, Edivento. Julie Landers, AK Stacks on BJ and the Bear. And isn't Julie Landers the girl from Vegas? Right? Or wait a minute, there were sisters, right? So I could be wrong. Let me see. Vegas TV show cast. I want to say Julie Landers was on it. There we go. The Vegas TV series. Oh, wait a minute. That's wrong. That's Las Vegas. Has to be Vegas. Here we go. Vegas. Oh, wait. Is this the wrong one? Oh, no. This is another one, because it has Michael Chiklis. It's definitely not the one I'm talking about. Here it is. Vegas TV series. Cast. Judy Landers. You put Judy. Oh, you put Judy. Okay, because was her sister Julie? Was it? Because I know they were twins, right? But Judy Landers was also on Vegas with Dan Tana, Robert Ulrich, back in the day. She was hot, right? The sisters, right? The twin sisters, the Landers sisters. They played the Airheads. That's what that was their signature and stereo-casted role, right? That's it. They were stereotyped right from that. The Landers sisters they played the sexy Airheads because they were cute, they were hot, and then they were just dumb. That's kind of maybe they weren't really dumb, but I'm saying that's the role they played. Just in case. I don't want to insult the woman because I don't know them personally. Pam Foxy Brown Greer. Yes, sir. I will forgive all in Miami Gardens if I find out Chris Greer is related to Pam, bro. What is a woman? Much respect to a pioneer. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Victoria Principal was Andy Gibbs' girlfriend. Yes, she was. Yep. Well, I don't know if they were still together when he died, but he was, Andy Gibb, he would make any plumber proud. He laid a lot of pipe. There's no doubt about that. He had that opportunity. Don't forget, folks, to visit our friends at Caneswear. They're all out there. Brett, Jeff, John, all of them out there waiting to take care of you. And, of course, you can order online. If you order over $99, you will get free shipping. Use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off if you go in person or online. So go check it out. They've got anything and everything practically with a Canes logo. Plus, you can buy Dolphins, Marlins, Panthers, Inter-Miami gear, and they've got it all out there. Check it out at caneswear.com. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that is Sean Stanley, mastering this entire platform. Appreciate all of you. We will see you tomorrow. Remember, Wednesday we'll be at Toyota of Hollywood. All right, that's on 441. Thursday we'll be at Hialeah Park, and Friday we're home, right? We're in studio, I think, right? Yeah, because we were at Acura last week. We'll be at Acura next week is where we'll be, not this week, next week. So two live shows this week, Toyota of Hollywood tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday at Hialeah Park. Ocala Joe says, Valerie Bertinelli or Jennifer Aniston did it for me. I'm with you. Both are my top favorites. Jennifer Aniston is another one that, man, Jane Seymour, still hot. Yes. I like it. And you know who I like also in, well, obviously Halle Berry's one. No, but back in the day, what's her name from Octopussy? Oh, it's not Brooke. It's very pretty woman. She's in Bonds twice. Adams maybe was her name. I forgot her name, but the main character from Octopussy, that one, she's a pretty woman. She's a pretty woman. And I know she was in, I think maybe A Man with the Golden Gun, I think. Maud Adams, I want to say. Is it Maud Adams? Let me see.
Yeah, it was Maud Adams.
Yes, it is Maud Adams. Yeah, baby. Yeah, useless information. Useless information. I have so much stupid shit trapped up in my head. I don't know what the hell it is, but Maud Adams was, I like her. I like her back in the day. You know, I like Bo Derek. She just, I'm Latin. She didn't have much of an ass. That's the only thing. Everything else was a 10. She didn't have much of a bootay, and that's kind of a requirement for us Latinos. Ursula Anders, Miss Universe, also not much of a butt. That's kind of, it's a little bit of a defect for me. I kind of need a caboose. It's the Latino blood in me, man. Ask the brothers and ask the Latin guys. I'm going to stereotype here. I have to. I can't. Latins and the brothers aren't going to argue with me overall. There's going to be a couple Latins and a couple brothers are going to say, well, wait a minute, no. I'm all right with flat asses if they look great and everything else and all that kind of stuff. Whatever. That's fine. But I'm not. I'm just, I need some shape back there. I need a little popture out there. I need something. It doesn't have to be Kim K-ish. We don't have to go Nicki Minaj-ish. We don't have to go like ginormous. Okay. But I need a bootay. So that would be my knock with Bo Derek and Ursula. Not much of an ass. Big O, are you worried that the Dolphins shitting their pants on primetime games? No, man, no, not at all. Not at all. Why is it that they remember the Ravens game this year, but they didn't remember that they beat the Ravens 2 years in a row before that? Just wondering. You know what I'm saying? Just wondering. You can beat the good teams, but, it's the team that has to get there. So that's all. It's selective memory for some. It's like, whoa, Tua can't win playoff games. Well, he's only been in the playoffs one time, and they were an injury-riddled team at that point. What more do you want? He's only been there one time. you're going to be comparing them to people that have been to the playoffs 5, 6, 7, 10 times. I don't think that's kind of fair. You know what I'm saying? But that's all right. That's how people want to measure it. They can measure it. So I don't worry about any of that stuff. If they're healthy enough, then they should win. That's all. McDaniel should do his job, and everyone else on the team, the players, should do their job, including Tua. But they need to get healthy. Big O, my wife saw Jason Tatum go for a pedicure the day before game 1 last week. I don't know about you, but I don't think anyone should be going for a pedi during a playoff series. I get what you're saying. I don't know, man. There's something soft about him. There's no doubt about that. Edis Chacon and Salma Hayek. Well, Edis was ass, but Salma Hayek is complete. She is perfect. She is the total package. Ray says, as Latins, we like our curves. Who we kidding? Yeah, it's just kind of the way we are. Got to have something to hold on to, man, says Drago. Dua Lipa. Jacqueline Bissett. Classic. Jeremy just said, oh, people still remember how the Ravens put 59 on us, yet we put 70 against the Broncos. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Anyway, we thank Ira Winderman. We thank Sean Stanley. We thank all of you who tuned in. Those of you, please hit the like button before you get out. Hit the subscription bell. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. You can even make a Bitcoin donation, which we always appreciate the Bitcoin donations. And we have our new merch store now available. You can buy some Big O Show shirts. There's the QR code. If you're listening on the podcast, go to Big O Radio Show, BigORadioShow.myshopify.com. BigORadioShow.myshopify.com, and you can order our merch. We appreciate it. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show.